I am Ines Alea from ToleratedCinematics.com, and today I will be showing you how we have created that epic zoom that you have seen in our channel intro. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check out our channel intro. It tells you what our channel is about and it's definitely worth watching. But right now we are going to jump into After Effects and let's see how we have done it. Alright, here we are in Adobe After Effects, and as you can see we have some footage here where I'm walking with a flight case here. I will also make sure that you can download this footage in the description so you can follow along with this tutorial with the exact same setup. So I'm going to end it up right here. Actually, I'll trim it down so you don't have to trim anything, but that you can just work with it. And like over here we can see the flight case as well really clearly. So I'm walking here, and let's say around here we want to zoom in on that flight case and then see what's inside. And the way I've done that is actually I took a picture of what's inside, and this is a picture. You can even see shoes of Arnaud. So it's a really rough image, nothing special, nothing fancy. But that's what we are going to use as a reference as a reference for what's inside. Let's get started with the composition here. So we are back in the composition. I'm actually going to rename my composition to Epic Zoom because that's what it is. Alright, and then I will click on my footage and press S on the keyboard, and then also hold Shift and press P on the keyboard so that we get the position and the scale. And we'll click on these stopwatches for both of these, and then we'll go ahead and like move 3 frames forward. We can do that with the page down button on our keyboard. Maybe 4 frames, it's up to you. Find something that you like, and then zoom in all the way like this, and then just move it a little bit more towards the center of that box, somewhere around here. So now we have something like this. It's moving and zooming into that box, and actually you can zoom in a lot more if you want to. So scale it up and position it over here. And there we go. And then we can enable the motion blur for our composition, and also enable the motion blur for the footage. And then you will see that it's something like this. So now we get really that motion blur, and it's going to sell the effect. So let's see how fast this is going. So this is way too fast. We can actually move our last keyframes more towards the end. And also for the first frames, I'm going to right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and then so it's starting out slow and goes really fast until it's inside. And then for the footage itself, also press hold Shift and press T on the keyboard to reveal the opacity. And we're going to click on the stopwatch a little bit before the end of our zoom here, and then completely at the end of our zoom we're going to change it back to 0. And actually I'm going to change my composition settings to black so it looks a little bit nicer. And I'm going to close my trim comp here so we can actually preview it quickly. So you can trim by pressing B and N on the keyboard. Alright, this is pretty cool. It can be a little bit faster, but actually what I will do is jump into the graph editor for the position and the scale, and then I'm going to select these first buttons here. Actually, if we zoom in here, we can see that we can bring these in a little bit, so it's going to start real slow and then really speed up nicely. For the end we can actually make it end really quickly, so it's actually at a complete speed ending. So there we go. So this is going to look nice. Alright, so that's what I have done here. And then for the image here, we will import our image onto our composition. And actually we can firstly delete this and bring this into a new composition so we can trim it a little bit better. And here I will just create a new solid and make it black, okay, and call it vignette. And there we go. And I'm going to uncheck this eye here, and then with the ellipse tool I'm just going to select like what's inside here, something like this, and then enable it again, press F on the keyboard and change the mask to a subtract mode, and then just feather it like so. There we go. Then duplicate the same mask and also go to feather and feather it out even more so we get something like this. Then you can also press MM on the keyboard twice, so we can bring down the mask expansion so we get like some darkness going around the edges here, so you can see this looks a little bit better. It's a little bit unclear. And then also you can play around with the sharpness and stuff, but we'll do that later. So now we have this, we can bring this inside our first composition. And there we go. And just at the beginning where the opacity is at 100% of the other layer here, we're going to start our composition. Also press T on the keyboard to click on the opacity and move the 100% opacity to the end of the end animation of your first footage. And then for this one, we're going to change it to 0. So from 0 to 100 in the same time that it takes to get this from 100 to 0. So now we have zooming in and it fades in. There we go. Okay. So what we can do is also click on the stopwatch for scale, and actually we can hold shift and press T so we can see both of these keyframes here. And let's zoom out a little bit, and at the end it should be around something like, I think this will work fine. Or actually I'm going to rotate it, press W on the keyboard and rotate it like this. And this way we can we'll see a lot more. So let's bring it to the bottom here. Well, something like this. Okay, so we have scaled it correctly. And then at the beginning we should actually zoom out a little bit more. Scale it like so. So it's actually scaling up. There we go. So it's zooming and scaling up. The thing is, it's scaling up, but here we can see that the edges are still visible. So to do that, go to the beginning and actually scale it even smaller. We're going to take a motion tile. So go to a position where you can see the edges and go to effects and presets and search for motion tile and bring that motion tile on top of our composition. And then just expand the output height and width and then just click on mirror the edges. And there we go. And now we have something like this. And it's zooming in, and there we go. Also make it stop slowly. So for the scale and opacity, we're going to add some easy ease there. Okay, cool. Then also hold shift and press P on the keyboard and click on the stopwatch first position at the beginning of our composition. And then a little bit later, we're going to move it downwards, something like this. At the beginning, it should be somewhere around here. And now we get something like this, but we can still see the edges, so it should be a little bit more. Okay, just play around with this. And also enable motion blur, and that's going to help out with the transition here. Actually, the opacity, we can start it right over here. Okay, this is better. And let's see what we get. I'm going to make it a little bit longer here so we can get a nice preview. Okay, for me the positioning is going way too fast, so I'm going to lengthen this. And I'm going to cut it like right over here. There we go. And then we should start with these fast cuts that you have seen in the preview. And the way I've done that is just take a lot of close-ups of me putting together the Ronin. And you can do that with something else if you want to. That is actually like you're fixing something or making something. And that's really cool if you do some really fast cuts and then add some sound effects to that. The sound effects that I have used are from Video Copilot, Motion Pulse, I think it's called. But I have it for a while now, and I really like these sounds, so that's what I've been using for the channel intro as well. So the fast cuts are right behind this one, and that's going to make up the really epic feeling. But of course, we need to go color grade it as well. So now we have a fast zoom. Actually, we can move the position and scale here a little bit closer, so it's a little bit faster even. Okay, so that's actually it. So this is how you do the transition. Actually, I wanted to zoom in a lot more, so I'm going to change this to, well, 1200 here. So we don't see the edges anymore, so it should be actually, yeah, like this. Okay, this is perfect. And then you can play around with the color grading. So go to Effects, Sharpening, and Sharp Mask, and sharpen it like 100, around 90 maybe. And then duplicate that in Sharp Mask and change the radius to 25 or so. And change it to 50. And that way you can see that it's making it pop a little bit more. And then also play around with the curves, maybe add a lot more contrast. And play around with everything like so. maybe make an S-curve here in the greens. And now we have like a more epic thing going on. And then of course color grading, and this here you can check out our color grading tutorials. But yeah, that's actually it, how to create that epic zoom in Adobe After Effects. It's that easy to recreate, just zooming in and fading in and out, so that's it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you have suggestions for other tutorials, also leave them in the comments below, and make sure you are subscribed for my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.